All right, talking to a Mendelian Award winner for excellence in biology that I just so happen to be married to, Lenny McAllister, here on News Radio KDKA on Mother's Day. What's the significance of a African-American mother who accomplishes her lifetime goal of getting this biology degree with this level of academic success, with her kids being there and her granddaughter, specifically granddaughter, being able to watch this? What went through your mind yesterday thinking about this is Mother's Day weekend? I was told that I was too old, it's too late for me to do this, and I'm doing this as a wife, a mother, and a grandmother with honors.
You know, one of the things that came to mind yesterday was that, sure, you've made mistakes and you have not been perfect, but you were able to get up and just continue on. Even after every mistake, you were able, that was, each mistake that I made prior to going back to school, all those mistakes have made me stronger. I consider myself a resilient person. No matter, we've had so many obstacles that have come our way. One of the major obstacles that I can think of that almost made me think that maybe I shouldn't be doing this was that when I first started working overnight during the training period, I had registered for classes. It was going to be my first semester taking biology classes during the day. And I was told that I was not going to be working at night, that I would have a daytime schedule. And I was just completely sunk at that point. I was like, oh, I don't even know what I'm going to do. But I literally had to cancel all my classes and go to my advisor and let them know that I can't get away from working, that I will have to work during the day, and maybe I can take these classes in the fall. At that point, I thought, well, maybe maybe this isn't for me. Maybe it's too much of a strain on the family, especially with me needing to work. And it's going to be 2 semesters before I can go back to school. Am I actually going to be able to go back to school? And I said, yes. I made a commitment to myself to start studying. Even though I didn't have the classes, I wasn't going to be in the classroom. I started studying, and I was prepared to go back to school in the fall and take those classes. And, of course, the rest is history because, I ended up making A's. I literally had straight A's for most of the time that I was in school.
You had straight A's until literally the last semester. It was one course.
Yes.
That knocked you off. And even with this last semester, it was one course that knocked you off. A course that you still did better than 90 to 95% of the people in the course. And knocking you off was not a D. Knocking you off was was a B. I mean, look, the bottom line is I get to brag just for a second, but this is also objectively talking about the power of second acts. You finished with a grade point average in biology of 3.88. So basically, it was one course that was challenging for everybody that got you at a B, C plus level that brought that GPA down just enough, which I know the competitive aspect of you. That doesn't make you very happy.
No, it does not make me very happy. And, but one of the things that made me feel better about it was I had to look up the stats on the course myself and find out that there's probably like a 50 to 60% failure rate for that class. So I feel a little better about it.
And so let's put this in context. For 20-year-olds,
exactly,
it's a 50 to 60% failure rate.
Right.
And it kind of goes back to how we started the half an hour. When you add all the other layers to it, the age, the dropping out, the going back, wife, mom, working, that failure rate, generally speaking, has to be much higher. But again, the flip side of that is when you look at that, there has to be a certain level of just kind of being able to now turn around. You're not supposed to drive forward by looking in your rearview mirror. I get that. But the car stopped now. Graduation was yesterday. You can literally put the car in park and actually look behind you. Now that you do that, what does that view look like, considering that GPA is that GPA, that award is that award? And after the top of the hour, we're going to talk about two other things, including going to South America. As we close out the half an hour, and you're not going to be here the whole time. She's not going to be here the whole time, even though I could do this until 6, but I promise you I won't, because I know you want to complain about Donald Trump and everybody else. That said, as you look behind you, what goes through your mind now when you think about having to go an extra semester, an extra 2 semesters? Can I get through this school? Reclaiming the love, reclaiming the science, understanding the pure aspect of the fact that you were still able to retain all this information with all this other stuff going on. Just the fact that you talk this language. When we sit down and have dinner, this is what you talk about. And you do it with such a joy and a love and a just fascination for the subject that, I mean, you know, I've told people on these airwaves, the only ground rule I have is don't ask me to explain what you're telling me. If you just want an audience, I'm there because I love you and I support you. But the fact that you can do it, when you look back on it, just what do you think now?
That when I reflect on it, I realize that the journey was absolutely worth it. All of the nights of staying up to 3 a.m., being scared to take an exam and going in and still acing it, just working overnights in an ICU and being very, very tired, all those things were worth it. Because I have accomplished my goal. I wanted to get a biology degree. And not only did I just get, I didn't just get a biology degree, but I did it in style and I did it with honors.
And you did it in the way that you wanted to do it, which was as best as possible.
Exactly.
Coming back after the news, I'm going to ask you about reclaiming a dream when it's deferred and deferred and deferred, as well as going from being on one side of a life-changing trip to the other side of it. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to continue this conversation because I think it's important for people that are trying to reclaim a second act. And I think it's extremely important to hear a mother talk about it this Mother's Day, especially with the fascinating story that my lovely wife has. So stick around. I'm going to talk to her a little while longer. Then I will open up the phone lines, I promise. But I'm going to talk to my lovely wife after we come back from the news on News Radio KDK.